In the pantheon of video game creators, names like Hideo Kojima, Shigeru Miyamoto, and Gabe Newell often dominate the conversation. Yet Cliff Bleszinski, affectionately known as Cliffy B, represents a different kind of game designer. Not born into the industry, nor following a prescribed path, Bleszinski's journey from janitor to creative director of billion-dollar franchises serves as a symbol of raw passion, unconventional grit, and the very ethos of modern game development. Born in 1975 in Massachusetts, Bleszinski had a relatively average upbringing, except for one key feature: a deep and persistent fascination with video games. As a teenager, he wasn't building resumes or writing essays to game studios. He was submitting his own homemade creations to game magazines and entering programming contests. His earliest project, Palace of Deceit, was an amateur effort but a clear sign of his drive to tell stories through interactive media. He also worked as a janitor, cleaning up schools and offices, a job that might seem worlds away from high-tech entertainment. But this chapter of his life is more than anecdote, it's metaphor. Bleszinski entered the gaming world not from a pedestal, but from the floor, literally, and this grounded his creative vision in the experiences of the ordinary player. Bleszinski's big break came in the early 1990s, when he joined Epic Mega Games, now Epic Games. His early success with Jazz Jackrabbit, a colorful platformer inspired by Sonic the Hedgehog, hinted at his ability to blend fast-paced gameplay with a keen sense of player engagement. But it was Unreal Tournament, 1999, that changed everything. Working alongside Tim Sweeney and others, Bleszinski helped create one of the most defining first-person shooters of its era. The game's success was due in part to his design philosophy: speed, style, and satisfaction. It wasn't just about shooting, it was about how you shot, how it felt, and how smooth the experience was. Then came Gears of War, 2006, the crown jewel of his career. With its cover-based mechanics, gritty aesthetic, and cinematic storytelling, the game was a commercial and critical juggernaut. Under Bleszinski's creative leadership, Gears didn't just sell, it reshaped the shooter genre and became one of Xbox's flagship franchises. From janitor to industry rockstar, Bleszinski now had fame, money, and the kind of recognition reserved for few game developers. But as with many stories of rapid ascent, the next act would be defined not by more success, but by reflection and challenge. In 2012, Bleszinski left Epic Games, citing burnout and a desire to explore new ideas. This was more than a resignation, it was a reinvention. Having climbed to the top of the industry, he now chose the uncertainty of independence over the comfort of legacy. He launched Boss Key Productions and began working on Lawbreakers, a high-mobility, gravity-defying shooter designed to stand out in the crowded market of online FPS games. But Lawbreakers, despite its mechanical innovation, failed to find a sustainable audience. The game was shut down less than a year after launch. Many saw this as a failure. But Bleszinski saw something deeper: the challenge of being a creator in an era where visibility is dictated not just by quality, but by algorithms, influencers, and attention spans. In a candid reflection, he once wrote, "I was humbled. It reminded me of what I loved about games in the first place: the risk, the passion, the community." This phase of his career speaks volumes. Bleszinski didn't fade into irrelevance. He became more introspective, more vocal about mental health in the gaming industry, and more interested in mentoring the next generation of developers. In other words, he transitioned from prodigy to elder statesman. The story of Cliff Bleszinski is more than a rags to riches tale. It's a meditation on ambition, burnout, reinvention, and the cost of creative freedom. It reveals the uncomfortable truth that success in the gaming industry is rarely linear, and that failure is often more instructive than triumph. What makes his story especially compelling is its relatability. He wasn't a genius coder at 12. He didn't have Hollywood connections. He wasn't backed by venture capital. He was a gamer with a vision, someone who worked mundane jobs, submitted game demos in the mail, and slowly carved a name for himself by being obsessively committed to his craft. As Dev Mode Stories aims to uncover the untold narratives of gaming's great minds, Cliff Bleszinski's journey stands as a testament to what can happen when raw passion meets relentless hustle. His story isn't just about where he came from, it's about how he never stopped learning, failing, and creating. In an industry obsessed with what's next, Bleszinski once said, "It's easy to forget where you came from. But the mop closet is never that far behind." If you enjoyed this story of resilience, risk, and reinvention, don't stop here. There are more untold stories waiting to be unlocked. Subscribe to Dev Mode Stories for deep dives into the creators who shaped the games that shaped you.